I don't know much degree wise. I'm still looking for my fire here. It's going to start. Saturn in Pisces, Venus has just conjuncted, and then we have Mars going into Pisces too. Mars in Pisces is quite the steamer, because we have Mars ruled planets right now, with the Sun in Aries being Mars ruled, and then Mercury, which is an epic thing going back and forth for the next month and a half in Aries, Mars ruled. But Mars now is over there in Pisces, and the thing is what I'm finding prone to. Got to nip it in the bud. See, I've been doing this already, and this is what I think. This is what I know, and I hope that humanity can get over this one. See, with the Neptune Venus of opposition, me having a Neptunian aspect there, it's in Pisces. It's that Neptune in Pisces too. See, we have a lot more planets than. See, we have Neptune there also, and Venus is about ready to go to conjunct Neptune, and so is Mars. But Mars is going to conjunct Saturn. And the Piscean planets, I'm telling you, please don't succumb to this. I mean, I have, and it's not good. It's so detrimental. There's enough going on with me, right? But now we're gonna feel grievous. We're gonna feel sorry about it. We're gonna feel sorrow. We're gonna feel like that we're wrong, very wrong, not just wrong, very wrong. In fact, you don't have a right. See, this is the feeling of the Saturn Pisces, which in fact points at spiritual disconnect. If you really look at how Saturn takes away from the best of that sign, which in Pisces is very spiritual, very artistic. It takes away artistic ability. So a lot of these people that have Saturn and Pisces, I'm not saying all of them, there's an exception, but most of them that I know personally, they're not very artistic. I mean, if you call um, avoiding illnesses from doing, but still doing street drugs all the time, skilled or an art, then yes, they're doing great with that. I'm sorry, not always like that either. God, terrible. But the feeling is, it's just abused little kids that have been disenfranchised. It's this feeling of just this victim that says, and see what entails is that feeling of worthlessness, not really feeling good about yourself, feeling like that it's your fault, that you're wrong, and thinking that it's not your fault, and that you're spiritually deficited. You're not connected. You are getting mentally ill now and stuff like that. And so don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. That's what's in the air with these Pisces planets and the Neptune there. It's just be careful. We have Saturn and Pisces doing this, and being there like that, and it's like, oh, how gross. You're just an alcoholic now, and as far as the grandpa Saturn, it's usually, pardon me while I'm looking at this here. Well, oh, could not be processed. What happened? I must have erased it accidentally. This thing is really messing with me, to tell you the truth. It stopped in the middle of something I was trying to say. It was very important to me anyway, and it does that really uncannily. Is that a word? Processing abandoned. The video could not be processed. Now, I wonder which one is that. But I'm making this video. Am I making the video? Yes. It's about that that prone in the air. See, Mars, what I'm experiencing is that the Aries sun, mainly the Mercury in Aries, it's going to be going retrograde. This is what's going to be interesting, to try to clear this up, clear up the that negative mindset that says that you're wrong for sticking up for the environment and the truth and yourself. You see, if it's backed by Aries with the Pisces tinge, I mean the Pisces, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about right now. See, humanity is rising up. It's going to wake up into its spiritual belongings. It's slow but sure. By the time it's 2025 June, we'll have Neptune going into Aries, and that's what we're looking at. It's like the slow progression, and with the Neptunian aspects with the Venus and Mars and all the other stuff, it's really a precursor to our spiritual awakening about the spiritual awakening that's coming in with the Neptune and Aries. See, we have this is the time to grab. It gives me the sense right now because that Neptune and Aries is not necessarily good. It's not like the Neptune and Pisces. It's a really right now the Neptune and Pisces. If you didn't have your spiritual experience and like just about I was gonna say near death experience and then really deeply like how connected are we with the Jesus story, and are you Jesus? Did you find out? I know I I found out I was Jesus, and then how is that working for us now? Boy, I talked about the frequencies in my last video. I don't know if it came out. We're being hit by frequencies. I might have to just move it. See, I'm thinking, well, where do we go? I know that we're supposed to surround ourselves in, at the very least, lead. If you want to avoid being bombarded by the 5G and Elon Musk's and all that, see, they took lead out of paints, out of house paint, particularly exterior house paint, for sure had lead in it. Not just because it made the better paint. Somebody loves the people and they want to protect them. See, in the 70s, when they come up with the NexRad, that's when they pushed to stop putting lead in the paint. The house's NexRad is a huge. It's out at sea, and it's a huge magnetic electrical pulsation machine that you see it. It's at sea. Look it up. NexRad, NEXRAD. It's a abbreviation from some scientific equipment, Tesla's, that's been beaming at all corners of the United States and probably everywhere else, but particularly the United States is being beamed by this stuff. It's related with the weather, but the population is just being bombarded. See, but not if you have the lead in the paint, the lead suit. See, they make you wear lead if you're doing X-rays or any kind of MRI. And what also is Tesla's is lie detector machines and all the other machinery that detects the mental waves, electromagnetics, X-rays too, because yeah, microwaves. Anyway, thanks for listening to this. I didn't get very much sleep last night. I'm going through some very uneasy feelings. I think it's a combination. But see, what I'm really worried about is that, see, I told you about SEE was up on the road. It was until 2 o'clock, and it really, I can't believe how I was just looking at myself. These things, I'm holding myself so tenderly, and I'm trying not to have a bad reaction and get like a baby and crying or something. But I just kept noticing myself. It's like, no, no, no. It is actually very late. They're still here. It's 12:45, and I still hear this. They're there, and all these, you know, how they have the lights going, and SCE electrical trucks doing something. And I see. I didn't go look. You don't want to know why? With the Pisces in the sky, I'm terrified. I don't like the feeling of just me going out there and looking, and just me noticing that they put up a bunch of, maybe they put a small Gwen Tower tree up with just a bunch of 5G, and nobody's gonna see it with me in this neighborhood. I've had too many problems already. This foreboding. See, something in my logical mind, I already thought about it, and thanks for sitting with this terrible shit. Don't do this. Don't let this happen. I tried to talk about it in my last video, or is it this one? Just don't get into dwelling. But do you know that the things are going on that Pisces will pick up on? It's like, no, I had a dream. If you remember, I was trying to say, well, something about the water and some kind of event. Well, they busted up a bridge in Baltimore. It's a staged show of this boat. That boat would have gotten shredded, and if it was a real accident with that boat. And but they blew the bridge up over the boat, and the boat has some rubbish on it. But that's kind of on the water and the boat and blah 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 and the bridge, and it's interesting to kind of correlate it, go back and look at it, because a book of astrological rulership already points it out. It's a trip, the Neptune, the Mars, blah, blah. So we have Mars in Pisces now and all that, Venus in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, and the only thing good about feeling bad about yourself, there isn't. I'm telling you right now, as an Aries rising with the Sun in Aries and Mercury there, nothing, nothing. This is the time right now you realize that they're going to try and prey on that. Who are they? The enemy, the war that we're having on this planet, is spiritual warfare, and they look for those gaps of insecurity, that you have a conscience first of all, and they don't. So much that we have to learn about, and the Aries. When I just get a flash about how we are, we're like, you know what? Why learn about the enemy? Learn more about yourself, and also, who cares about the enemy? Start starving them of attention, or whatever it is. You think there's an enemy, starve it of attention. Stop giving it attention. What is it? What is it? Oh, can we really positively identify it and say, here it is? Not really. It comes, like the Bible would say, it comes through the human flesh. And babes, I've seen something here on this plane. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm looking at. There's people that are not fully human. There's precisely just, they aren't human. They can be human. They can learn to be human. This is a school here. This is a school. And I heard somebody questioning today, like, I just don't think that it's supposed to be any place that is supposed to be sane at all, because look at how fucked up it is. I mean, we're just going to clean this up. No, it's a school of, when you become human, you get the hell out of here. You graduate away. Really, what you do is the possibility of graduating into the soul is happening. You're going to get a soul. Possibility that you could grow a soul within the human embodiment, and when that soul grows big enough, it leaves the human embodiment, and not before saying, "Excuse me, oh my God." That's the soul getting really big, and it says, "Nah, we don't hang on to this. Not even what you think." The elder age thing, the body deteriorating. Let's get back to talking about. Boy, I think I'm gonna sneeze, and out of the 1,700 videos, I've never sneezed, but probably once before. Okay, I just blew it. Talking about the radiation in the air, um, how that's what's in fact causing premature aging, and let alone our minds radiation that says, well, it's supposed to be happening right about now. Yeah, really? Okay, if you say so, kind of a thing. Otherwise, it is technological radiation that's just breaking us down like crazy. It's like, boy, and some people are thinking, they're fed a crock of shit about lifespans. Oh, we lived so much shorter back then because of the no medicines and hard work, and it's like, you don't really know that. But if you pay attention, if you're somebody my age, you're seeing the shortening of lifespans. People are not hardly making it to 75. Before my great grandpa built this house, when he was 70 to 72, and they're living to be 90, 120. But that's lame. We are not. We were supposed to be living till 175 is actually adolescence. 175 is adolescence, and then 400, 700 is our age span. It makes sense to me, because I can tell it's like, boy, we're just creeping up into learning a little tiny bit, and then we have to die. Why? That's weird. And it's not that we die. It's really like, what is going on here? Can you please just stay open? Especially when you get out there in outer space and you're like, hey, supposedly you get really happy and you see all these people who say, nah, even though it feels like home, and you're like, this is mine, and like, nah, that's what we hear, and they come back down here, the end of life process, or end of, the near death experience. They are saying how disenfranchised they possibly are. They try to tell us about all the good news, but it's like, who cares? I want to go back home. God, how they just sometimes them say that was rude. And I say, yeah, question that. Stand there and say, excuse me, I'm going over here. See that imagined thing I'm doing? It's my world, but it's not this world. Don't you know? Can't you see I do? Sure, bye. I sure do bye. Yeah, imagine the world that you know that could happen based in what? Well, in this place of trash. And it's like, I don't know, I think that truth works. Is this truth works? Yeah, sure, just keep making biodegradable plastics. So that we keep fucking inhaling it. And it's like, why? Because you don't want to poison the planet. You make the plastic biodegradable to where, oh God, have mercy. It used to be that, I do have a the real intention behind plastics was to make it last forever, so that you don't have to keep buying it. God, how it's just, I'm telling you, take that in a nutshell, and just say that's the world for you. Everything has, and it has turned into that. And just when you think it can get more and more reversed, no, it's not even reversed. It's more like bizarre, out in left field, off the charts. What? Like the higher ups, people in outer space are going, good God. Baltimore Bridge, chip, chip, stop doing that, please. That's what happened with the Twin Towers. Nah, and what could happen with the capabilities of hooking up communications to everything, which includes journalism. Um, they can control, just from a big event happening. They can just control, you know. Um, they can control the freelance studies about what happened. Like, the first thing that was on my mind about the Twin Towers, because it was fascinating, right? That's a mega couple buildings right there, full of desks and pencils and chairs and toilets and everything you can imagine. And so I was fascinated to see the rubbish the next day, like how piled up and all this crap. And it wasn't there. I was looking at it going, excuse me. There wasn't anything normal about the way that it just turned into an hourglass dust, and it sounded like sand. You're like, what's that sand pouring? Nothing hit the ground. But then I'm like, I want to see the massive pile. And the first question that a lot of people like you and me asked, who were they asking? I'm wondering. But there were investigators there, and there were these people in black suits, I guess, and they were like, "Excuse me, sir, where did the buildings go? Where did the towers go?" Was the big question. Where did they go? We came here to see a bunch of shit stacked on end, and it just wasn't there. It really isn't. So anyway, things were going with me on this beautiful story. It's 20 minutes, and I'm really weary about what I'm feeling. With this, maybe it's the lunar eclipse and the weird shit in the air. It's been really bad with I hate to say it, but uh, the people that filled in the space, the last space really close to me here. It's really unfortunate. I can't say that I'm not fully responsible for that, but the truth is, and we look at it, like I said, you don't dwell on, like, you don't just blame yourself. It's like, well, wait a minute, just you're cruising along, they're cruising along, we're minding our own business, and then I'm making myself vulnerable by speaking up about the asphalt, and I'm really trying to talk to these people. I'm like, after 3 years of like really no calm and noticing some red flags, honestly, in communication, and they would probably say the same thing about me, but really it's like, okay, so, but if a mind is there that's more open and more apt to be present with everybody, like say, you're not going to be prejudiced so much. See, I sense a lot of prejudice in these people. A lot of red flags went up right away, and I just thought, okay, so I know how to mind my own business. And then I noticed a little energy. This is the truth. There was like an energetic game being played with me or something, and there, and maybe this is just what like influences people, how it is when they're building a fence, I guess, around their property. When they move in, they're flinging their money around, and of course you're like, well, I want to keep up with the Jones or whatever or something, and it kind of influenced me that way. It was weird, and I noticed it. I almost put fencing right on the perimeter of my property like they were doing. But I was like, no, wait a minute. We never had that and we never will. No. This is weird. We shouldn't be putting any fencing up. I mean, the reason why I have it is because I had a problem with the coyotes. But anyway, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, no, this is a weird conversation. See, I think I'm suffering a realized psychological condition, and I've come up with the social, social shock. Is that sort of thing? Oh, there's a different name for it. Culture shock. Culture shock. I imagine is it probably doesn't mean what I'm about to say, but how that you don't really meld with the kind of people that are living in that place, and you're experiencing a shock to your system, maybe illness, some kind of, maybe you're getting a mental illness, like you're getting emotionally disturbed. I'm experiencing it. But for me, it's like, oh no. It's not the idle, it's not my Idlewild, it's not the Idlewild I knew, of course, and it's not necessarily that problem. See, if the human ecology didn't turn out so just desert-like, and like I said, not really friendly, almost like it's like, wait a minute, you're playing a game? What kind of game is this? Because that's one big huge box if it's just to keep your dog in. I mean, to tell you the truth, I've had a dog. I'm gonna wrap this up now, but my two dogs, I first got them, I trained them. You can voice command them. You can train dogs. See, this is what narcissists will not do. They don't really have dogs the way that you can have dogs or anything. Anything. They don't drink a glass of water the way that if you were thirsty, a human being, and you would drink it and go, ugh. No, it's like, what just happened? Same thing with eating and everything. Everything. They don't do it go there for the same reason that you go there, which is just either an interest or you really need it because there's an intellectual reason you need it. It's like it's intrinsic to your living. They don't get it. There isn't a rhyme or reason for anything. So having dogs is one of them. And it includes just misbehaving. They're very leash bound, right? They don't know that you can have voice command. You can do voice command to where yeah, I know I train my dogs. Well, they got loose towards the end of her life. She was visiting neighbors. It was a dead end street. I didn't mind, but they ratted on me. They got on my case because at her end of life, she turned really skinny. There was nothing I could do about it, but narcissist says you're doing wrong about or give me a problem about it. And I was like, God, I knew you guys were fucking stupid. I just knew it. And this is it. This is it. And what else? What else you got? Because that's life ruining shit. That's life ruining. It's not really life. It's a nuisance. It's a fucking literal. Life is hard enough, and then you got these pains in the ass out there. My dog died in front of my face just fine. That's what we're supposed to do. Narcissists, we can see the worst of them. They hand their older animals over to something else that they can't handle their animals passing away. And I get it. That's who they are. They're chicken shit, and you could not trust that as far as you can spit. Don't dare you get it in a fucking human relationship because you're going to treat people the same way, especially when they get sick. There are people, I would be the kind of people that says, no, give it to me. Let me take care of all the old dogs there and cats that are and they're struggling. It's like, it's okay, sweetheart. But the thing is that You're not their owner. You're not their owner. You should be right there. It's hard. It was hard with my dog and my cat. It's the hardest thing, but you have to dive into it. You have to. Oh my God, we are so prone right now to throwing out the sacred experiences of our lives. Our lives are sacred. Having said that, listen to this beautiful video this woman put up. She's just a howling cat